right, so quick one today. I just want to kind of show you guys what I'm working on. I think I'm going to build out basically an entire CRM project for my client. Um, this is co-work, but I'm having some issues with it, so I'm just going to start a brand new one instead of trying to fight with it. So the cool thing about co-work, this isn't working right now. Can you try again later? What the fuck, man? That's annoying. Let me try something real quick. Plugins. So I have plugins connected. Um, Try to see if I can show you guys how this works. But essentially, yeah, here we go. All these things you see right here are from Organized Codebase. So Organized Codebase, if you don't know, is an entire suite of skills and commands and hooks and agents and tools, etc. That I'm able to have here. So maybe I show you guys that inside of Cursor. But essentially, I put this together. I started to understand what plugins were. I remember when they first came out, nobody was really paying a whole lot of attention to them. It was more so about skills than anything. But I figured out skills inside of Cloud Desktop, and then I kind of moved on. Let's see if they'll at least let me do this part. So within that, I have different types of skills that I've created, categories, if you will. So, except for context 7, I don't know why that's kind of set up that way, but these are all local plugins available across all your projects, and this is how it looks. So even the connectors, the commands, etc. That's kind of cool. You can kind of see everything. So MCP still exists, but they've just been doing some weird like renaming stuff. So connectors are basically um, MCP servers. And then inside of that server, you have tools. And then a skill can use a connector to do things, or a skill can use commands to do things, or uh, really it boils down to if you have the skill with the reference file, with the examples, with the templates, with the scripts, it can actually, you can say, hey, context extractor, run the package data skill script. And this script generated data analysis skill into distributable file. What does this do? Data analysis. I wish I had a cleaner like example of how I've used it already, but basically you got that, and you've got these other ones as well. So all those skills are data skills. And I got data related commands and et cetera, et cetera. So this is all available to me right now. Um, Something that's near and dear to my heart. Let's do this one instead. Skill. So I have this organized code base applicator is the name of the skill, and I can turn it, or plugin, and I can turn it on and off. I can jump over to cursor with it. Let's do that real quick. I want to see what this looks like. All right, yeah, I can open up local paths. That's fine. So just like Xcode, or when you look at your config file for, it doesn't really open anything though. Okay, there it goes. Your config file for cursor got updates. For Cloud Desktop was the first time I kind of ran into this, is you can click a button, or Xcode. You can kind of click a button and then get into the plugin JSON, which looks like this. The cache, I don't know what that's for. And then you got your skill markdown file, which is the real bread and butter here. Um, and then obviously I could like play around with it right now that I've got it open. So I could open up Cloud Code through extension, or OpenCode, or Factor, or whatever, Droid, whatever, and do it from there. And I can access the skill just by talking to it, but that's all that's in this code base. So it's not like super useful. But anyways, that's cute. Um, I wonder what happens when I go to customize the plugin. So I can actually do that from Quad Cowork. I don't know. I don't know what to say other than you need to have your own plugins. You're missing a huge opportunity not having your own plugins. And I don't remember exactly how I did it, but I was able to figure it out with the documentation how to build plugins. And so probably tomorrow, maybe today, I'm going to extend the capabilities of what I have inside of my plugin marketplace. Right now, my plugins are saving my ass because I have plugins for Claude, or not Claude, OpenClaw. Let me show you that real quick. So this is the README. Kind of go through this, and I got the Boris uh, plugin, which is crazy. It's just a skill, man. But again, all these names are kind of converging and turning into weird. They're tools, but it's like a package. So it's like you not only have a tool, but you also have a way to orchestrate that tool through a skill. So then, as long as the skill is uploaded and in the documentation, you could be talking about the tool, and then you let the agent use the skill to access the tool. Is basically is what it is, and it's really dope and interesting if you know what you're doing. But this is, let me say this real quick. I come from the finance background. Like I come from the finance industry. I traded for a number of years professionally and on the side with my own money, semi-professionally, I guess. And I've made some good money, and I've also struggled. I've been up and down that street. The thing about trading is it's got its own knowledge that you gain from being in the trenches and doing it. And also in finance in general, it's its own language. So this has its own language. Agentic engineering has its own language. Engineering in general has its own language. Software engineering definitely has legitimately different languages, from Java to Rust to Go to everything else, and some of these really wild ones as well, right? So not understanding the basics is going to cost you using tools that you definitely, if you were to wrap your head around, it'd be a no-brainer. And so part of the reason why I've been able to punch above my weight so well is because I've learned how to use the tool before I understood what it was and what it meant. Like I'm using this bash tool, CLI, understanding that a lot of these agents are using bash loops. Ralph loop is a bash loop, right? I didn't have to understand what bash was in order for me to go use it. So the point is, when you're using it, you have a reason to then eventually understand the mechanisms at play to make it work the way it does. MCP servers are problematic, man. They've always been. NPM packages, they're unreachable, they disconnect, they fail. I ran into that often while using Cloud Desktop in my journey. So I knew that there was something to it. And then come to find out, NPM isn't the best way to do that. And it's problematic from the start. And a lot of people were not on board with MCP from a delivery standpoint, but the concept made a lot of sense. And now it's like Bash, running a bash tool through a CLI. So it's a CLI tool with an agent. The agent understands when to use it. You don't have to like directly call it. And you package all that stuff up together inside of a document that includes the agent skill itself, the tool, hooks, slash commands, and you package all that shit up and create a plugin with it. It's now it makes sense. I didn't know what plugins were when they first came out. I didn't understand what they might be used for. I didn't really understand the power of it until I built my own marketplace, and then I uploaded a plugin into my code base and saw how all the skills, all the agents, all the commands, all the hooks came with it. That's a big, big deal. So here we are. One of the main things you're going to see me do over the next probably 2 weeks, now that I'm sitting here talking about it, talking myself into it, is you're going to see me build the entire organized AI plug-in marketplace. Like it's happening. So I wanted to show you this because these are all for OpenClaw. So just so happened, I didn't write this. I don't know. I'm just riding waves. OpenClaw tools. So these are tools specific to OpenClaw, and they happen to be bash tools. And so where I would have just been speaking directly to people who are using Claude Code and using the plugin frameworks, I can now speak to OpenClaw users who don't trust ClawHub because they shouldn't, because ClawHub is full of people hacking other folks' accounts. So I'll have a whole suite of projects like this media buyer bash. Why do I have this? I just built this for a client. It works. I use it. They use it, and they like it, and I'm getting paid to do it. So yeah, I'm going to continue there. This Claude Bot sandbox tool is from Just Bash from Vercel that I just kind of forked over. Not kind of, I definitely forked over, and so on and so forth. GTM AI plugin, something that's going to allow you with tracking related stuff, so measurement marketing and that type of thing. Blade, LinkedIn plugin. I probably should get rid of this. This is specifically for Blade, the helicopter company, who is a client. And then fixture tracking is something that I have not built out all the way, but I need to. So, anyways, just wanted to hop on and show you guys that part. This is something I need to be doing. Um, I have a project called, damn, it's not even here. It's a Rabbit Hole Media company here in town. Actually, I like this better. PL 70, and then I can just not have to hop over to that. All right. I don't know what I just flashed you guys. Okay, cool. Just my wife. All right, so I need to be careful on LinkedIn what I show, or LinkedIn on Twitch. All right, speaking of being careful, I have a tool that I'm building right now. This shit is broken, man. I don't know what the fuck's going on here. This is really pissing me off. I'm sorry for cursing, but I got a blur sensitive code. Oh, it's showing. It's working. Um, and so this connects to OBS. Anybody who out there who's also a streamer or understands like how this stuff works. And there's existing tools, and I'm gonna do that with this cloak and camouflage, and then build something custom and make that available to people for a small fee. Because I think that's where we're going is useful things, tools, one-time purchases, that type of thing. I think that makes a lot of sense moving forward for most people. And I need to solve and use this in my stream. So my next stream, hopefully I'll have it up and we'll be using it. Okay, so this entire plan is pretty interesting. Um, I don't think I implemented this yet. Create phase plan. Uh, let's see here. Let me just ask the code base straight up. All these exist. Missing. add my location ID, and then we can go. Okay, let me do that real quick. Actually, let's just do this. Boom, boom. And then you guys can't do anything with the location ID because I just know that type of stuff. So let's see, app dot this one. So I'm gonna do this on screen and kick this build off, and then I'm gone. I'm gonna go into the office, and I just have access to better compute there. So go to the office and run this shit, do my thing. So boom, and then there's that. While we're doing that, I'll show you guys this. So I have this idea that I've been pitching, starts at 5 grand, private AI workforce. So this is selling an AI agent directly to a company, organization that might want to use it. And how it works is it's a done for you AI agent that runs entirely on dedicated hardware. Unlike cloud-based AI tools that charge per seat, per message, or per token, your AI gives you unlimited usage on a machine you own outright. No recurring API fees, no data leaving your network. Right. So you place your deposit. I put an agent on there and we get it running. We configure on your dedicated Mac Mini. We could do a Mac Mini. We could also do a Mac Studio, obviously. But so I'm trying to get people on board with this idea that they can run locally and privately a lot safer than any API calls that go out. Obviously, you can do that if you want frontier models and you need them, but that should be kind of a second second idea rather than the first idea. The first idea should be, hey, we have our own at home, right? And you can't get access to these frontier models. Their whole moat is, hey, pay this API fee and get access to the latest greatest model. No different than Netflix. So this might not be the best analogy because the frontier models are the strongest ones, the fastest ones, the most capable ones right now. However, if you don't need um, the tool, if you don't need a huge, if you don't need a nuke, then you can use a 22, right? I think there's a lot of pressure around people having the latest and greatest and the newest. Um, but it's kind of, I see this turning into Netflix where it's like with that subscription comes exorbitant exorbitant costs and to the point of being exploited for the fact that you're on that platform and that's all you know. So think about how Netflix started, how it kind of got into its sweet spot, and now you watch a movie and there's commercials in your movie, right? It's annoying. So how do I, and OpenAI is rolling out commercials right now, by the way. How do I build something native to me? How do I build something company X AI, the company X or company A AI, their own AI, your own AI, it's yours, it's your company's, it runs on your machines, it's not influenced by outsiders, it can't be accessible outside of your network, et cetera, et cetera. And then we put in place like security measures to make sure that happens. But the most important part is I can fine tune and train a model an open source model to fit your needs. So now, if I'm a law firm and I need an agent that can, uh, really understand contract language and how we look at things and flag things based on our criteria, then I would want an open source model that I can fine tune to that specification. If you're just a random person, you don't really care. Obviously, you can use uh, Claude Cowork or one of these plugins or whatever. But then you run the risk of confidentiality because there's data leaving your workstation and going and hitting an API, and that data is being collected and stored, God knows where. So hopefully there's not a big hack. Anyways, hardware, Mac Mini or Mac Studio. This is kind of what it looks like. And I could run a 70 billion parameter plus model. With that, I could run like GLM, I think 4.5 with this, with no problem. And with a Mac Mini, you could run, something smaller. So 32-bit, 3-bit daily workflows. These are low in almost no power, and this is the size of it. Um, and then Claw Router allows you to use essentially multiple models and kind of route through those different tasks, even if they are different models that you have on that same computer, which is kind of cool. And code generation, you can do a 7 billion parameter model specialized. So this is kind of the game I want to get into, is like legit LLM all on your same machine, but also smart switching based on what you're asking of it. So different personalities, different tools for the job. Instead of thinking, hey, yeah, I'm running the latest, greatest AI with this much API costs and I'm doing it, I'm using it on everything. It's like ketchup. They just put it on everything. It's not the play. And then organized AI marketplace, what I was going over earlier. How do I give the right agent the right tools and the right setup to complete those different tasks so I could orchestrate this entire situation? And then this is what the economics look like. So instead of paying monthly for cloud access and API usage, I'm in a couple of vibe coding groups and people are using OpenClaw, spending $2,000 already, 2,000 bucks a month. It's only been 1 month. So you're gonna spend $24,000 instead of just spending $10,000 once and running local models. And that's fine. But keep in mind, I don't have to just run local models when I buy that machine. I personally am going to have a mix of using my Claude code plan. So I'm on the max plan, and then also using local stuff whenever I need to. So that's kind of cool. And then I don't think hardware is going to get any cheaper moving forward, unless you get something that's just like not up to par. And then the investment is agents, it's intelligent routing, it's the right LLMs installed, it's the computer itself, it's curating skills. So Agent Suite is something like this, but that would be like the actual agent or harness, if you will. Tool discovery, sandbox stuff, privacy, secure remote access for me to fix things if I need to, or SSHN. That's on me. That's kind of where the support is. And that's ongoing remote support, model updates, new marketplace skill additions if you need to. Um, and this is the cool part. So by having that device and running those local models, I can kind of act as an inference layer and give people the opportunity to use it for that. And I'll host the model myself. And obviously, there's a cost for that, but for now, I'll make it part of the trial, or at least figure out a way to charge people not so much that they can't test drive it for a handful of days without making me go negative in that process. And then security and privacy is a big piece of this. And then we got service plans. We started 5 grand, and we scale up to 35. So Mac Mini Pro, so small guy, M4 Pro, with 5 curated skills and a core model is going to be 5 grand, but that gets you everything built. You don't get custom skills, tools, or sandboxed, or the dashboard. So those are additional fees. And we just allow people to kind of choose that over time. And then we got some common questions. What agents come with the installation? Do you need technical expertise? I wrote and built this entire thing inside of Claude Cowork with a PDF skill that I have. But anyways, just kind of wanted to show that what's possible here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and kick this off. Yes. I might teleport this to my phone so I can kind of see that part because it's kind of interesting. And also I created a status line yesterday. I wonder why it doesn't show up. Will status line show up here in the quad code extension while I'm building? Building. And I need to do something with voice, I think. That's kind of next. Is I gotta set up all my uh I need to set up some kind of voice command because that's kind of the wave. And then I gotta use MCP Porter. This is how, I mean, I'm just showing you guys kind of how I do things here. It's not really anything crazy, but I'm kind of building around what does it look like whenever I step away and I'll let go of the wheel. So imagine me being able to walk away from this as the entire code base is set up and just say, hey, agent, do this for me, which is kind of where I would like to land with this. I think it makes sense. MC Porter. Let me try this. To transform any tools needed for all the phases of this build. All right, so there's that. See what we're talking about here. All right, so there's something going on there. I'll fix that later. Because I've got it running. I just have it running on not this project. I need to check and see which project I have it running. GHL API. Right. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. I also got to figure out if I did it here or somewhere else. I think it was organized code base. Let me try it. See if I can find it real quick. This is how it worked. It's kind of like hopping back and forth, trying to see what I can build with and what I need to like back off of. All right, so there's that. This is not needed. That's dead. Yep, that's yeah, organized code base. All this stuff is like whatever, man. Push to remote. Yeah, where's my status line at, man? I think it's going to be on my other computer. I got to figure out which yeah, it's pretty annoying. I'll figure it out later. Definitely not priority, but it would be nice to just have that already ready to go. Yeah, I didn't like create anything for it. It might have been a remotion too. All right, cool. All right, these gummy bears are. I need a sponsorship, please. If anybody watching this knows Albanese, I think that's how you say that. If anybody watching knows these people, I need a sponsor. I eat an ungodly amount of these. These miniature joints, so you think. Building, building, building. Yeah, I feel like I'm pretty much built the whole thing there. See my like status line stuff here. Where did I put it? Hmm. Let's see what we got. Got local and web. That's sick. That's actually really dope. You can flip into your web sessions. That's nasty, man. I really do gotta solve all these things because it's just gonna open up capability for me. That's all. It might have been sheepdog. Yeah, you gotta be organized, man. Organized AI. I picked the right name. Just gotta live it. You gotta be organized, man. All right, let me see something real quick. I'm pretty sure it's in chat. These allergies are freaking crushing my soul so bad. It's one of these. There it goes. Yeah, I don't know where I did it. So let's just do it here. Some tests, getting some outputs. Let's go back here. Let's check on my usage here. Usage. Mm, Yeah, so my model's gonna reset Friday. I'm about halfway on my weekly limit. Kind of checks out. And then I've spent some money on this guy, which is funny. I guess I went over. But in 3 hours, this will be back to normal. My overall weekly limit, yeah. So yeah, a lot of that is because I've been experimenting with the agent teams tool calls, and that'll do it. So although Agent Teams is really cool, it's going to destroy your tokens. So if you're using API, it's going to cost a lot. If you're using what's going on here? If you're just on a plan, then you're going to be running into your limits faster. And the sneaky thing about the plan is um I haven't hit my threshold on weekly yet, but I imagine once you do, that could really suck because then you got to sit out until it resets, whenever that is. And I think this one is showing all models reset on Friday at 3. So I gotta wait till Friday. It could be a Monday. It's a Wednesday right now, so imagine if I ran out right now. If I was way up here or something, that would really suck. Because then we're talking about losing access completely unless you cough up the cash to switch over to the API. They kind of got you by gunpoint, man. That's the problem here with the yeah, that's the problem here with the legacy or frontier US based models or whatnot. You run that very real risk. Very real. Yeah, I don't fucking care about noise. It's just running. Yep. It's kind of making sure that it's staying one task is what I care the most about here. Yep, GHL with MCP's Porter. Can't even get that done because it just keeps flipping. Yeah, EG. I've already got that. So this looks fine. Weekly limit. Cool. So that's fine. That'll be good enough. I just got to get it installed and using. So quick rant about that. People find all these new little ways to do things and tools. Hey, I got some more gummy bears. Find all these new ways to do things and tools, etc. But I think oftentimes people want to start tweaking things before they even set them up, before they even use it. It's like, dude, just use the tool. In using it, you'll start to understand why you need it or why you don't need it. I've had a couple of situations where, especially early on, I add an MCP tool and then don't use it. It's crazy. Why are you so worried about it? Especially if you're not even going to use it. What's the point? What are we doing? Using bun. All right, well, there you are. No weekly porting in all this shit. Excuse my French. Updating the status line, custom fields, you know. Fortunately, I need all that shit. I feel good about it because I've kind of, yes, make sure to use the .git or file properly. Okay. Yeah, we'll see how that works. I don't know yet. Don't really care. What? Yeah, I'm just finishing up some stuff real quick. I'll text you when I'm ready. Huh? All right, love you. This session wasn't supposed to take this long, but you know. It's kind of like become my preferred way of doing this. Um, is through this VS Code extension or whatever. It's um, it's a lot of fun for me because I can hop kind of back and forth and see how things are moving. Alrighty. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Yeah, let's check. Yeah, CLI only. That's what I thought. In terminal. I gotta run it in terminal to see it. All right, well, you guys are gonna see it first here. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, it's because I'm in Node. Maybe, maybe not. You're about to see. Where's my status line? I don't see it. Okay, that's all ready. It should work. If it doesn't, no biggie. Okay, that's just stuff. That's old. We're building here. This is the Porter stuff. All right, so let's kill that. All right. Hey, there we are. Woo! Pretty. It's pretty freaking cool. Shows you the actual branch and everything. Make the get branch clickable for if I wanted to. I might do that later. Cool. All right, so all that shit's built. We're done. 0 through 6. It took a little while. Let me see how long have we been here? 55 minutes. Camera's not working for some reason. I freaking hate that. I fell asleep, so my camera just went off. What's left? Selection. There any non-technical tasks off to my team?